Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to go over the Celestial Trials on my alt account. So I have been kind of neglecting them because I really couldn't bother tryharding and pushing them, but I decided to do it today and this is what I have managed to push. I can obviously push even further, but there's literally no reason to, because the main drops that you care about happen at floor 71, and everything about that just increases the amount of currency that these drops, or rather the epic ones. So it's not really that important unless you're someone who's extra tryhard in the game. But for everyone else, you can pretty much just stop at 71 or rather 72 and leave it there. Obviously you get more rune drops if you push further because you will have higher chances. So yeah, this is what I have used on the Dungeon Maniac, or rather the Percival floor. So you obviously always select the first buff, it's the best one to go for. And without Lucifer I was running this team pushed to like 133. Then I tried Lucifer in this pod and it pushed even further, so I know I can go even further. But this is pretty much just Leviathan's domain, so you only really need Leviathan and a counter hero for the Talos, and you can choose it out. The higher the Leviathan, the better the odds. 9-star Leviathan can pretty much solo clear this. I did it on my main account with Leviathan, Macaria, and one more counter hero, so 3 counter heroes and pretty much just Leviathan can solo this entire Celestial Trial up to floor 150. But if you're not trying to cheese it out with Leviathan, you can run something like Lucifer, Elisha, and Pandora for the DPS, or rather we will use Jorm as a buffer instead, and then we can use something like Dahlia to swap at the front end. But if you don't want to cheese it out, you can use the clear records, but you will see that everyone is using the Leviathan, because why should you suffer when you can just easily clear it with Leviathan instead of trying a absurd amount of trials and errors to find a team that works. So just simply use Leviathan at 7 stars up to 9 stars. 9 stars makes it far easier. As for the other floors, for example the Graveyard Witch, I have used this setup, but I believe I can push even further. I have not tried without Lucifer, maybe I could try that. Maybe, no, I don't want to bother with Hela. I kind of want to try Mulan if she's still solid for this. It doesn't look like I will clear, otherwise there will be points for the Celestial Rush event. Looks like I struggle with sustain, so let's try to use the chest into the sustain blades and into any other relic. So let's try this. And this doesn't fix the sustain either, it seems, so it's clearly something going wrong, and me not using Fate Hero at this stage is a bit tricky. So let's see what the clear records say. So the clear records are all using some kind of Fate hero, whether it's Hela or Lucifer, it doesn't matter. This is the setup I have been trying to use, so let's see whether it works. It should work because it has Lucifer now. It's a bit RNG because you want Dahlia to swap with Atropos and then Pandora to increase the damage, and you also need to hit the good RNG where you burst the Emily so her fortitude doesn't proc, like this case. It's, as you can see, there's plenty of rounds to go, but the goal is to burst Emily as soon as possible because we're not using the fortitude counter for this. So you have to burst the Emily to actually take her down and not proc her fortitude effect. So you can use this team, it's pretty simple and it's pretty easy to get. Lucifer is now available multiple times throughout the season. Jorm is in the Oracle shop, Dahlia is from the Hell ticket, Pandora is also from any ticket you want or Oracle shop, and the Atropos is essentially free. So it's a pretty solid lineup. You can perhaps try even with Mulan. I'm not sure if this will work, probably not, actually it's not working. So yeah, you do need Dahlia to swap for the buffs, because Dahlia swapping basically increases the buffs of the swapped hero and copies it onto them with her legendary runes and doubles the earnings of them. So yeah, overall a really solid hero that you want to have at 7 stars for this kind of PvE. She's not a priority anymore in terms of purchases, but she's still a priority to pick from the Hell selector. As for the Bloodhell Queen, I'm using the similar setup like it was in this, or rather pretty much the same setup. Instead I'm swapping in here and I'm using these relics. So Kusanagi is MVP in this. You proc it as later as possible. That's why the planner gate is in position 2. And yeah, that's the setup you can use. I'm pretty sure you can even swap out some units for Mulan or Tsuki, but like there's no reason not to. That's why the guide exists, so you can follow these heroes. So I make guides according to what the priority needs for these kind of levels for the Celestial Trials, Lost City, Rift Odyssey mainly, and others. I don't really take account into PvP early on because it's really irrelevant game mode. So Lucifer is the first priority in terms of Fate heroes for the 8 stars, and you can see why. She's basically everywhere. And Jorm is surprisingly better than Elisha. Not really surprising, but Elisha is viable starting at 6 stars. Jorm does need 7 stars and then legendary runes on top to be better than Elisha. But let's try with Elisha instead of Jorm, maybe it will work. It doesn't seem to be working, and if we try to use Elisha instead, if we try to use Jorm instead of Elisha, let's see what happens. And it's obviously an easy clear. So yeah, you definitely want Jorm. Jorm will perhaps move in the priority to be a tier above and a higher priority, because once she becomes viable in the selectors from the events, I believe she will be the top hero. Like the Tsuki event start, I believe Jorm will be able to do the same, even better. For the Northern Duke, I have been using this setup, so I'm using Odin instead of Dahlia here. Odin is pretty amazing in this trial. Not sure if I can push anymore this one, it's been kind of tough. It's also a bit RNG. Let's see what clear records offer. So clear records are using some kind of mystifiers as well, but it's actually not really a good clear records. Anytime you see the Thunderbolt, it's not a good clear record. Thunderbolt basically solos every single Celestial Trial that's possible. So this setup, it seems that it's everywhere. This setup seems to be dominating in every single Celestial Trials, which is Dahlia, Atropos, Lucifer, Jorm, and Pandora. And we have a weird setup with Ashid and Tsuki, so more stat buffs, I guess. We can see it for sure, we can try it, and it seems it's working. So yeah, if you're out of ideas, you can simply just check the clear records. They will tell you everything you need. This clear record is working because we're activating the mystifiers, which increases the attack of all allies, which also increases the attack of Lucifer, Atropos, and obviously Pandora. Lucifer, Atropos increasing her own attack means more pledge overall and more damage for Pandora. So that's why this clear record also works. For the Merlin, Merlin has been one of the toughest bosses in the past, but nowadays it's quite easy. So this is the setup I have been running. It's Navi instead of Odin or Dahlia, but I'm pretty sure you don't even have to use Navi. So let's check the clear records. We have Hades, surprisingly, but this is the clear record I have been using with Navi. We have Karnag, which increases the crit. I think Karnag is here for the bind counter. Lucifer is also a bind counter, that's why this trial has been easier now. In past, we didn't have Fate hero with a bind counter, so you had to use someone like Lee or Ophelia, so it wasn't as easy as it is now. But now, since there's a bind counter, we kind of want to use a Glorian hero. I'm pretty sure Marina should be better than Navi, but it looks like it's not working now. Actually, looks like it worked, but I was just barely off the damage. We can try with Gin. Gin also increases the attack of all allies, or rather the attack cap. So let's see if Gin actually works. It doesn't look like it's working, and it's nowhere close Marina on top of that. Maybe it was just a bad battle, so let's check again. And it's quite close, but Marina seems to be doing better job. And let's try with Navi now, and whether it clears or not. It's not clearing because there's no Celestial Trials bonus, but we will see. Basically, you want to fill in with Glorian, which will be pretty much Marina always for me personally. Marina is a really strong hero, but she lacks the star levels to be viable in this case. But as you have seen, clear records pretty solid, and it's always the same heroes. As I said in the past clear records, it's always these 5 heroes you will use in every single Celestial Trials. So don't bother about other heroes, these are pretty much the only ones you will need for the Celestial Trials. And yeah, they clear pretty much everything. So later I believe Arcane or Bella start showing up instead of Pandora in some of them, so we will see how that goes in the next video if I make it on the update of the Celestial Trials, but so far I don't plan to, because I was bored just pushing this once. So as for the latest, or rather the last trial for the Talos, you are using the same lineup as in every other before. This time Elisha I have been using instead of someone else. I'm not sure who, but yeah, this clear record also should be working, so it's the same heroes as always pretty much. There's no really reason why you should create your own teams unless you're like super bored and you want to test around, but you can just simply use the latest clear record, adjust the relics to your own relics that you have, and just play around that. As you can see, no struggle in clearing whatsoever. So that was it for today's video. I just wanted to showcase the Celestial Trials and the top 5 heroes that you will need for them. So it's going to be always Elisha and Lucifer. Not really always Elisha, but she helps in the beginning. Jorm then later replaces her quite easily. You will also want Dahlia 7, which you should be getting from your health selector, perhaps in Oracle Store if you really do need her. But apart from that, Atropos is a free buffer that is easy to get. Lucifer also the main priority to get for everyone from the Fate Summons, which occurs now seems to be week 3 and week 7 of the season, so you have 2 copies of season per season to get, which shouldn't be hard to get. 200,000 diamonds is quite easy to get. Even on my alt I have managed. As you can see, I have both Lucifer 7 stars and Hela 8 stars, which is just 3 months old account. Here's the proof. This account is pretty much free to play friendly. I haven't spent a single dollar on it, so it's free to play account, and it's on day 90 currently. So day 90 I have Lucifer 8 and Hela 7, and I do plan to make Hela 8 on the next Fate event, which should be in 3 weeks, and I'm hoping I make enough diamonds by then, but it should be possible with the Storm Passage. It's one of the best diamond generating modes we have ever gotten. As you can see, just 2000 diamonds off of it. So yeah, I don't even do raids on top of that because I'm lazy for this account to do them. But yeah, overall, just wanted to showcase the Celestial Trials teams. As I have shown, you will only need these 5 heroes for majority of the trials, and you can experiment with others, but Lucifer, Pandora, Atropos are the main key heroes, as well as Jorm, especially with her runes. Jorm gets far better at 9 stars, but that's not really a priority to go for right now. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.